When they met at Anfield, Bournemouth were hammered 9-0. Obviously, we don't expect a score and crazy like that. Liverpool's last game in March, before they face Man City, Chelsea, and Arsenal, 2 of those games are away, Man City and Chelsea. I don't think this team can afford slip-ups if they're trying to get top 4. So this is a very crucial game for them. They go to Madrid on Wednesday, trying to overturn a 5-2 deficit. I still believe the same midfield of Fabinho, Elliott, and Henderson will start. They showed a lot of promise. The one thing about Liverpool this year is that they managed to get big results and not back it up, which has been very, very odd of them. It'll be nice to see how they bounce back from the 7-0 drubbing of their rivals, Man United. Bournemouth, on the other hand, almost beat Arsenal at home at the Emirates. They defended very deep, but they carried a real threat going forward, like on the counter. A really high XG, I think of 1.3. Reasonably high for a team that's languishing in the bottom of the table. I'm really curious to see how Gakpo and Nunez carry on. They're really tailing off each other on the left side really beautifully, starting to build up slowly and nicely. For this game, I'm going for a Liverpool win, 2-0. Leicester versus Chelsea. Leicester have lost their last 3 league games and also got knocked out of the FA Cup. Chelsea are coming off a 1-0 win over Leeds and a 2-0 win over Dortmund to take them to the quarterfinals of the Champions League. You'd expect Chelsea to carry on from here, but at the same time, Leicester and Brendan Rodgers is about to be under a lot of fire if he doesn't get a result in this game. It's going to be a tight affair, but I think what might give in is just Leicester's defense. Chelsea cannot score goals, but the Leicester defense is just abysmal. They do concede chances, and seeing how Sterling and Kai Havertz, in as much as people hate on Kai Havertz, he had a really solid game against Dortmund. Hit the post, had a goal disallowed, and scored a penalty. He's not the most prolific striker, but he's trying. If anything is to happen in this game, I would expect a very narrow Chelsea win, 1-0. To give them their 3rd clean sheet in a week. I believe this is the game that gets Antonio Conte fired. His contract is supposed to run out at the end of the season. I believe you fire him, and whoever you bring in, you give him the next few games to really see who actually makes sense in this squad and who can move forward. But knowing Daniel Levy might not want to pay him after he sacks him, because he's basically paying the last 3 or so managers. Tottenham have been so inconsistent, very inconsistent. Being knocked out by AC Milan, they showed no fight at all. Like, for a team that's knockout stage of the Champions League, at home in front of your fans, to not show any fight. Only had 2 shots on target, I think, and one was Harry Kane in the 95th minute or something like that. This Tottenham team has no fight. It has no fight. And Brennan Johnson is on fire. Nottingham Forest, Steve Cooper, and as much as we laughed at them for having 78 players, it has taken time for him to actually emerge. And maybe this is something that Graham Potter can learn from. It takes time to blend a team with many new players. But I'm going for an upset. I'm going for a 2-1 Nottingham Forest win. Brennan Johnson to be on the score sheet. This boy is on something else. So I'm going for a Forest 2-1 win. In past years, Palace have always found a way to beat City. Always through a crazy Townsend strike. City having to go and play Leipzig on Wednesday means Pep is going to trade that shuffling players and playing Haaland at left back and all that stuff. But regardless, I still don't think Palace have it in them to actually cause a threat. Not potent going forward. They're on a crazy winless run, and if they're not careful, they'll just slowly be dragged in this relegation battle. I think they may be 3 points away or 4 points away with 27 points. But the Foden is back on form. People who doubted Foden, I was definitely not one of them, because I have seen this City team years and years and years, seeing players not play well, and then all of a sudden it takes a 5-game spurt where they're just on fire. That's what happened with Jesus last season. The last 6 games or so, he's just scored every single game, and he said, I'm going to be the starting 9 for this team. So it happens with City. I don't know how this guy motivates his players. So definitely we're in it for a fight until the end of the season. But I expect a City win, 2-1. Fulham versus Arsenal. Last game ended 2-1 to Arsenal, but it was a really, really close affair. I just believe Fulham are not playing at the same level that they were at earlier in the season. There's a lot on stake for us. This is going to be a much tighter affair. Probably the most exciting game of the weekend, but it's going to be a much tighter affair because Nketiah is out. I don't know if he's even going to play. He had an ankle injury, didn't play at Sporting. Trossard went off against Bournemouth as well with a groin injury. So chances are we might not even have a striker. And Jesus is on the mend as well. But Martinelli actually played well at Sporting. His link-up play was good. The thing with not having Nketiah, Trossard or Jesus is that now Saka also dovetails off Martinelli. The front 3 is constantly shifting. Reece Nelson, end product was slightly not there. Not what we've expected from the high standards that Martinelli had set, but he was solid enough. He was solid enough and caused a lot of havoc on that left wing. This is going to be a very, very exciting game, but I'm going for a narrow 2-1 Arsenal win. United versus Southampton. We already saw how they bounced back against my boys Real Betis. Rashford was very, very adamant that he can't wait for the next game to put things right, and put right he did. I don't see Southampton posing any threat for United. The only thing that might make this not a 4-0 win is maybe squad rotation, likes of Sabitzer coming in for Casemiro or something like that, which I doubt will happen. But he's as you can see, Ten Hag is subbing people off a bit earlier just to rest them a bit. I expect United to score at least 3 goals. I'd be surprised if Southampton even got one. United have bounced back. They've bounced back. This is one thing after the 7-0 drubbing against Liverpool, is that United have shown us that after bad results they can come back. Whereas Liverpool have shown us that after big results they haven't been able to come back this season specifically. After the 9-0 drubbing of Bournemouth, they just faltered off. I'd like to see what Liverpool do, but I expect United to win again and score at least 3 against Southampton.